And down here at the bottom left-hand corner of the map, Tal'Darim, we have our Red Terran player from Prime up 1-0 in this best of 9. It is MarineKing. And his opponent in the lower right-hand corner, trying to tie things up here on Tal'Darim, it is our Blue Zerg player, Slayer's CoCa.
And just in case anyone's curious, the Korean writing does actually just say their IDs, basically.
Oh, interesting.
It says Slayer's CoCa, and the other one is MarineKingPrime.
Cool.
Yeah. That's about it.
I've started up my German lessons again. So
good.
I am learning German an hour a day now. So you're learning this fancy Korean language, which is quote unquote important to what we do as a career, whatever that is. I'm just learning German.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Korean's a good language to know for esports in general, I think. But German actually is a really good esports language to know as well. Germany has a gigantic esports scene. So, yeah man. And then by our powers combined, we'll become like the super esports linguist.
I like it. I'm cool with that.
That's
You'll
the
translate our
title.
next event. So
is that
your goal?
wouldn't plan on that.
No, all right. No, it's set in stone.
I could try.
Hey, gas first from MarineKingPrime.
All right. So we probably are going to see some Banshees on the way for him. And MarineKing, like we talked about earlier, is definitely a player that doesn't mind going mech every once in a while. And a good transition into mech play right now in Terran versus Zerg is actually Cloaked Banshees. So we'll have to see. Pressure from Cloaked Banshees and a few Hellions works really, really well against Zerg these days. So it's going to be a pretty good opening. He's even building that barracks a little bit out of position just to mess with CoCa a bit.
Yeah, and this is a map where it'd be very difficult to do that 3-hatch before pool because, if CoCa wants to take his third, he either has to knock down destructible rocks here, which he's not going to do with drones, ladies and gentlemen, or he has to expand towards his opponent. Obviously, he doesn't know that quite yet, but still, whenever you have to build towards this spot as your third, it becomes very problematic.
Yeah, CoCa not going for that really quick 3-hatch. Like you mentioned, it's basically impossible to do on this map, but, it is notable that he is going for that sort of thing. And I'm really looking forward to this game, actually. I mean, game one, despite, what it may have appeared to be, was actually very close. So I still think CoCa has a great chance of winning this. Now, on MarineKing's side, we've got another, sort of forward factory going down next to that reactor. So it looks like it will be regular old reactored Hellions. No second gas just yet or anything like that. So MarineKing doing a normal opening, but in a bit of an unorthodox way. And that's one of the reasons why I love him so much, is because even if he does something normal once in a while, he does it in sort of a creative, deceptive kind of way. And that's what really gives him those little edges that he needs to win a lot of games over his opponent.
And as we can see, CoCa doesn't detect a thing yet. He's going to get into his opponent's base. He's going to see gas first, and he is going to freak out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to this, because he will see the gas. He's going to see nobody's really in gas. Yeah, but that's going to, so it's going to be a bit confusing. He's going to be like, all right, well, it's not gas being taken, so it's not like 2 barracks. He's like, what's that, a floating barracks? All right. So he was a bit confused for a moment, but now he's going to be just fine. Confusion over.
Yes, but of course he does have Spinecrawler 6-lings ready to pop out. Actually, once again, deciding to make 8-lings at the beginning of the game, which is kind of cool. So he really wants to try and punish those very greedy expansions that MarineKing likes to take. So certainly would have been able to do that, but now actually he just has to defend against a few Hellions.
Yeah, he is going for a sort of a version of a 4-queen build. So he will have 2 queens up at the front, and he will have creep to kind of maneuver those against the Hellions. He's even got a Spinecrawler. So unless he kind of messes up his micro here, he should be able to make sure those Hellions don't get in. And yeah, I think MarineKing knows that. He probably isn't even going to try that hard to get them past those queens. Yep, just expanding, continuing to make some Hellions. And this is going to be a situation, too, where I wouldn't be surprised at all to see MarineKing throw down a 3rd command center, especially because he's not mining gas just yet. Could be a few more barracks instead, but we'll see.
He does indeed have a 2nd barracks coming up, as we can see inside of his base.
There it is.
Inside of his base. There we go. And 2nd gas now on the way, starting to mine from this refinery once again. So these 4 Hellions still not going to be able to get anything done. There are 3 queens and a Spinecrawler up at the front. Once again, as you mentioned before, if CoCa even has just a modicum of decent control, he will be able to hold those off pretty easily.
Well, yeah, the nice thing with this large amount of queen opening here, MarineKing may try to duck past with 6 Hellions. That's a little bit of a different story. We'll see. But the nice thing with what you can do with queens against a normal amount of Hellions, and this is kind of on the edge of that, is you can use the range to actually push the Hellions away and still continue to spread your creep and keep those creep tumors alive. That's something you never used to be able to do. CoCa, though, with seeing that many of them, is definitely going to be playing a little bit more safely here. Yeah, you can see lining up those queens, not letting the Hellions pass, and MarineKing on the other side going for tanks right away. Okay, so no sort of special kind of crazy opening or anything like that, just actually going into a very standard style. But his army is going to be a lot bigger, a lot quicker because of it.
Yep, Marine tank, pretty normal stuff. 3 barracks in total, so about what you would expect at this stage in the game for a Terran player. And there we go, Creep Spray going to continue. MarineKing going to try and deny that, and does. The active Creep Tumor goes down, but of course these queens do have a fair bit of energy that will be able to drop down a few more.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually surprised he tried to do that, even though, you know, I just kind of was talking about it. But 6 Hellions is kind of the number where you want to be like, I don't really want to try to spread creep. He's trying to do it, but yeah, he loses another tumor. It's really only like 4 Hellions or less you can get away with doing that on. 6 is pretty tough, as we can see here, but he does manage to spread some creep along the other side of the map, so it's still being spread a little bit at least.
Now, MarineKing, of course, has very easy access to his opponent's natural, that kind of sweet spot underneath the natural where you can siege up and actually hit the economy of your opponent. So going for a little bit earlier tank push is certainly pretty decent option here.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's the exact reason why CoCa is spreading creep that direction as well too, because he knows he wants to be able to get to that spot really quickly and also have the opportunity to respond to it before MarineKing maybe is able to get into such a good position here. MarineKing pushing out now though, no stim or anything like that, just straight up Marines, tanks, and siege mode.
All right, well, what is he pulling along with this? Just a couple of SCVs to go ahead and heal things up as he moves along. Will certainly help with these Hellions as well that were very low in health. And MarineKing once again ducking out. Actually, these Queens getting pretty low. Transfusion hits one of them. One of them may actually fall before they're able to make their way back. Scans onto the high ground. The Spine Crawler is just out of position. It's going to take a few additional hits before it's able to get anything done.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate for CoCa because this is about a minute or so before when most normal pushes were coming. So this push is really messing with CoCa's internal timings. He's got a lot of Lings out, producing a lot of Banelings right now, but we'll see. I mean, MarineKing's got such a good position right now. CoCa's going to need to be very careful how he engages.
Yes, he is. And it looks like the Spine Crawler is going to fall pretty quickly. Now, most of the economy has already been denied. A few of the drones were actually roasted as well up in the front. How many was that? 14 of them already. So a lot of damage was done. They stacked themselves. You couldn't really see how many there were, but that was an incredible amount of drones.
Yep, and here we go. Zerglings coming out. I don't know if that's a little bit too early for the Lings. We'll see. Not a lot of Marines out. The ones on the high ground getting attacked by the Queens. Lings coming in from the other side as well, and it looks like CoCa will be able to clean this up, but what was the butcher's bill? How many workers did he lose? He's tied right now, 37 drones to 37 SCVs. That does mean that MarineKing has a bit of an economic advantage for a while.
Yeah, MarineKing's moving over to that third base right away. So what started, of course, was that 2-base push to kind of keep his opponent in, deny some economy, which he did. Is now going to become a pretty aggressive 3-base play here very, very shortly. In fact, that hatchery down to just 600 hit points. A little bit of concerted dropping or another little push there would be able to take that out pretty easily.
Certainly could. And I mean, MarineKing getting a starport right now, getting 2 engineering bays and stim, so all the things you need for a successful drop play. So we'll see if he has to, or if he decides rather to do something like that a little bit later. Pretty standard play from CoCa as well, going for Baneling speed, getting a Spire. He could easily go for Mutalisks on this map as well. I think generally it is a pretty good map for Mutas.
Yeah.
And with your opponent playing such a standard Marine tank style, the older style of Ling Baneling Muta can work as well. So, and I do feel like CoCa's really good at that particular style of ZVTs. So if he decides to go for that, I think it's going to be a good choice.
And that Spire, unfortunately, was just out of view, but of course, MarineKing does see everything else, but still a little bit in the dark in regards to that Spire.
It's a big deal, man. I mean, he wants to know if CoCa is going for Infestors or Spire. I almost said Inspectors, and I'm like, that'd be cool. You could like spawn little Inspector Gadgets. I'm glad that you thought Inspector Gadget when all I had to say was Inspector. It's good.
Yeah, I got your back. The Inspector Gadget theme. We're on the same page.
He like opens up his like sleeve or something like that, and Zerglings come out. That's terrifying, actually.
That would be.
Yep.
Go Gadget Baneling speed. It's better to finish up. There it is. And
Go Gadget Fungal.
well, you know, I've got to say, though, CoCa really investing quite a bit back into that creep spread now as he continues to throw that through the middle of the map. His third base is just about to finish up. We'll hit about the same time that MarineKing lands his next orbital command. So, but of course, MarineKing is just ever so slightly ahead on all of his bases, and that's not where you want to be as a Zerg player.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, MarineKing's in a position right now, too, where he doesn't really need to worry about attacking all that much. And he knows, like you mentioned, because of the rocks, that he's going to be able to pretty much keep up economically. So all he really needs to do right now is be very careful that his third doesn't get counterattacked. You can see him putting siege tanks in a very good position, and he may be able to do a little bit of a push here as well.
And important to note as well as, looks like these Zerglings are going to try and test the waters, but no, there is a siege tank sitting behind a couple of them, as a matter of fact. MarineKing actually forgot combat shields until right now. He's had stim done for about forever, but he did indeed forget combat shields, so it's going to make him a little bit more susceptible to his opponent's attacks for the next minute or so.
Yep, and in the game of StarCraft, it seems like combat shields would be the most useful against a unit like Zergling. I mean, against like Immortals or something like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, the surrounding needs to pick up, and he does.
Well done.
Getting those Marines away.
Saves the vast majority of them, picks off a couple of units on the way as well. So starting 2-2 upgrades, things are looking pretty good for him, and we do indeed have 9 mutas out on the map with an additional couple on the way. So the muta count is going to continue to grow, but it looks like it's primarily Zerglings and Banelings for now.
Yeah, and this is kind of that style that I was talking about a little bit earlier, where Zerg players are starting to go back towards this kind of old school style where you rely on a lot of Banelings, a lot of Zergling upgrades as well, and you try to take advantage of the fact that they're going to have a lot more Marines than they have tanks. The ratio is going to be a little bit off of where it normally is. And the Medivacs get scouted, and that is a dead group of units right there. A couple Zerglings are going to get taken out from the Marines, but MarineKing losing 2 Medivacs and a bunch of Marines as well. Nice pickup by CoCa.
Really well done, and it was all due to this unit that was sitting over here over by the 4th of MarineKing.
Good job, Zergling.
Yes, quite well done.
Yes, he deserves a pat on the back.
Yes, among other things.
That's
mostly monetary compensation. So
you deserve an upgrade.
Well, looks like these Mutalisks are going to swing in now.
Nice.
Picking up a tank up at the front is great, and it gets out of there without really taking that much damage at all.
Yeah, Muta's flying away, no problem. One a little bit bullet-riddled, but hey, that's nothing that a Mutalisk isn't used to, so that's fine. And here comes CoCa right now.
Oh, wow, actually surrounding those units pretty
surround.
effectively, and the Banelings were able to get a quite bit better hit than
Very
I thought
nice.
they were going to be able to. CoCa continuing to roll through. He's going to take out this wall up at the front. Oh, it's not even a wall. He gets Zerglings around the side as well.
That wall
Tanks
isn't
are
a
all
wall.
going to go down. Well, it's not a wall at all.
Oh, no, and this is not... I think this might not be a win at all for MarineKing. CoCa just doing tons of damage. Oh, so many SCVs. Oh, it's not a good day to be an SCV. 39 of them going down already. And CoCa doing so much damage here. I think this may be pretty close to the end. Oh, those SCVs.
It's just, why?
Don't you know what you're doing? Oh!
There we go. Thank God.
Ouch.
A little heartbreaking for a while. Yeah,
I know.
Production's camp now. 42 supply. CoCa has got game number 2 in the bag. Incredibly well played by him.
You know, I mean, I've seen like one game where actually it was Slayers MMA came back from a situation similar to this, but I don't think it's going to happen this time. GG.